Hello everyone. Today we are going to start the first topic from the Django and AWS series, which is hosting Django application on EC2. Before starting, let me introduce myself. I'm Tapas Singhal, currently pursuing my BTech degree in CSE with a specialization in cloud computing and automation. I have been preparing for AWS Solutions Architect Associate examination also. If you wish to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can simply scan this QR code or search for this URL on your browser. For the agenda, we have the following topics for today. First of all, we will introduce to the Django framework and its purpose and its features. Next, we will get the overview of the EC2. Then the main topic that is the hosting Django application on EC2. Then we will use the Elastic IP addresses and the Cloud9 IDE too. We'll see about all that later on. So, introduction to Django. Django is a high-level Python web framework that was created to help developers build complex database-driven websites and web applications quickly and easily. It actually follows a MVC architecture, model view controller. Uh, I will introduce that model in the upcoming lectures. So, to get started with Django, you need to install the Python pip package using the command pip install Django. And then after installing, you can also check the version of the Django by using this command. Or if you have already installed, you can also check its version using this. So next is the structure. Next, we will understand some tools of the Django application. It provides us a very powerful set of tools and libraries that help you to write clean and maintainable code. Here are some of the key concepts that you need to understand when working with the Django. First of all is the project. A Django project is a collection of settings and configurations for a specific website or a web application. You can create a new project using the Django admin start project and followed by its name. Then we have a app. A Django app is a self-contained module that performs a specific function within a project. Okay, you need to create a app using the Django admin start app followed by a application name. Remember this, the project is the main project of the Django inside which you can create a sub applications. There will be only one settings in the whole Django project. Only one settings. Okay, next is the run server. We have to run the server by using the python manage.py run server command. uh, Actually this command starts the development server that allows you to test your Django application locally, like your local computer. We will see this in the demonstration part, don't worry. Next is the admin. Django provides a built-in admin interface that allows you to manage your application's data. You can create a super user account to access the admin interface using the python manage.py create super user command. You have to specify the usernames and password and all. We will see that in the demonstration. Next is the URLs. URLs are used to map HTTP requests to views. You can define URL patterns in your project's urls.py file. We will see. Next is the views. View is a Python function that takes a web request and returns a web response. You can define views in your application in the views.py file. Next is the models. A model is a Python class that defines the structure and behavior of your application's data. And then finally, we have the settings. Django provides a set of default settings that can be customized for your specific application. You can modify your project settings in the settings of PFL. Uh, Besides this, you have to migrate your changes also. Like if you are changing some models or the database tables, you have to save those changes and migrate those changes into your server. We have specific commands for that too. We will see all those commands in the demonstration part right now. Let's see them. So I'm creating a new folder. Now I will open a terminal in it. First of all, we have to install the Django package. Pip install Django. As I have already installed the Django, it is showing I have already satisfied all the requirements. Now we have to start our project. For that we have a command Django admin start project, and we have to now give our project a name. Let's say its name is EC EC2 Django. So our project has been initialized. You can see here some files have been created by the Django. Let me just open in a PyCharm. See, now we can see all the files that has been created by the Django. So this is our main project, EC2 Django, inside which one main application has been created, which is called the EC2 Django, in which we have the settings, URLs, files. Now, next step is to we have to create a application. First of all, we have to change a directory in our project. So what is the project name? EC2 Django. Now I am inside the R project. That is, I am inside now this directory in which I have only this application. Now I will create another application which is called EC2D1. EC2D1. Now it will be created. Yes, it's now created here inside our project. So EC2D1, in which we have views file, models files, and admin file too. And in the main application where we have the settings and the URL files. So the next thing is we have to start a server, but before starting a server we have to migrate some changes. Like I have to first I have to initialize my project in the my application in the project settings. Like this is my new application. I have to declare this application in my settings, just like in the installed apps. I have installed a new app which is called EC2D1. I have to initialize it. Okay, now this is done. I am saving it. Okay, next step is we have to migrate our changes. So let's migrate. For that we have to use this command python manage.py. What is this? It will actually invoke this application. It is the main file of our project, to which we will apply all the changes or run our server. This is the most important file, one of the most important file in our project. So python manage.py. Now migrate. It will migrate all the changes to the server. Now we have to run our application. Run server. So this is the URL, local URL, local host. See, our Django application has been hosted successfully in our local system. Now, what we have to do is see the other things. Now I'm closing the terminal and opening the terminal in the PyCharm itself. Here. Now, let's see other files like URLs. In the URLs, we can see the paths or the URL patterns of a project. Like, let me run my server again. Yeah, if what are my paths right now? We have only one path right now, which is admin. Let me just copy this path and add it in the end paths. So as you can see, it redirects me to the admin panel, but we don't have any admin user yet, so we have to create our admin first. So let's create our admin. For that we have a command which is python manage.py create super user. Now it will ask for a username. I'm giving it admin. Then email address admin@gmail.com, and the password I'm giving admin and admin. It is too obvious, but yes, it is. We are just going to test it. Okay, now running my server again. Now let's try. So my username is the admin and password is also admin. So it says the okay, maybe some mistake. Okay, yeah. So now I have been logged in into the admin panel, in which we have only one user, which is the admin. I can actually create some more users and can control their activities like access to the admin panel too. Our main focus is to deploying this application on an EC2 environment. So first of all, we will just look on the basic things and create only a basic web page so that we can check if it's deploying in the right direction or not. So this is our application. We are not going to use any templates or not going to make any web pages in our main application. Instead of using the main application, we are going to use our sub application which we have created, which is EC2D1. So in this I want to create a new Python file which is url .py urls.py, and I will simply copy this URLs into this one. Now I want to create a home page which is what will we see when there is no path we defined, like here what we will going to see when we are just going to simply search for simply click on the local host. Simply we are on a local host, that is a home page or index page you can say. So I'm just giving it a blank endpoint, and then I'm going into the views file, and then I'm going to invoke a function called index. I have not created this function yet, but we're going to create this function later on. And then I'm giving this endpoint name. You can say a reference name, which is index. Now I will just open the views, and then I will import from Django.http import http response, or and then we will create our function which is index. Now request, which will request now return http response http response http response, and then request it again Then I'm going to show only a simple text like this is my Django application. Now save it. Uh, let's see. In the views file, we have the index function in which it will show the this is my Django application message. And yes, we have a views. In the views file, we have an index function. Now, why this is error? Because we have to import our views from dot import views. Now the error has been solved. Save it. Now, next thing is in these URLs we have to include what? We have to include these URLs. For that, we will simply go to the path empty and then include what is my application name? The EC2 T1 dot URLs. Now, why the error? First of all, we have to import this application in this. So uh, simply we can write import EC2D1 and now you can say include. So we have imported both our application and the include function too. So let's save it. So why the error? So this error, I guess yeah, it's because I have imported this wrongly. We have to import this by using from Django dot conf dot urls. Now it will import all the urls and then import include. Now it can include the urls from the other files uh, into this application. I've included this. Now what we do is put this in the single inverted commas. Now everything is okay, I guess. Yeah, let's save it and see if it's working or not. So this is coming blank. So why is this coming blank? It is coming blank. It's because in our views we have to remove this request. I've already created one request here, so we don't have to write the request again. So now save it. Now refresh the page, and now our message has been redirecting to our web page. So our application is working fine now. Let's create another endpoint in this application we have. So let's create one another path. Name it name it p1 and then views dot index 2 then name equal to index 2. Now save, and in the views I will just copy this one and paste. Now give it the name index 2, and in this I will just say this is second page of my Django application. Okay, now save and refresh our page. This one is the first page, and now I'm giving our the URL path. What was it? It was p1, I guess. Okay, so this is the second page of my Django application. And what was my another endpoint? it was admin, and in which I am only one user, which is admin. Okay, so we are working on this basic version for now. Okay, now let's have a look on another section. Now let's continue our PPT. So we have seen these of the modules. The other one will be we will going to see in the another lecture. Now let's focus on these, how we are going to host our application. So the next part is introduction to EC2. So Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, also known as EC2, is a web service that provides resizable compute capacity in the cloud. It allows you to create and manage virtual machines known as instances, and you can scale them up or down as needed. So some of the key points are it has a scalability, cost effectivity, flexibility, some security, integration, like we can integrate more compute services with it, like Elastic Beanstalk load balancing. Not only compute services, but also other services like Amazon S3 bucket or the database services like Amazon RDS. Uh, by leveraging these features and tools, you can build powerful and scalable applications with EC2. Whether you are hosting a web application, running batch processing jobs, or storing large amounts of data, EC2 provides the infrastructure you need to get to a job done. So now we will see how we can launch a Windows instance in the EC2. To launch a Windows application, Windows instance in EC2, you need to follow a simple steps. First of all, we have to choose a AMI, which is Amazon Machine Image, that contains all the necessary software and settings to run your instance. In this, we are going to choose the Windows AMI, and then we have to configure the instance details, which is up to us. Then add some storage. Then we have to create some security groups. Then one of the most important thing is the key pair, which is like a password we have to create. It's in the encrypted form. We will later on decrypt it while we are launching our machine. Now, by following these steps, you can quickly launch a Windows instance in EC2 and start using it for application and workloads. Once your instance is running, you can connect to it using the RDP or other remote accessing tools. Let's have a look how we can launch it. So this is the AWS console, in which we have to go to the compute services and then EC2. Now we have to launch an instance. Let's give it a name like Django, Django EC2. You can give it any name. Now for the AMI, I'm going to choose the category Windows, and then I'm going to use the default server. Actually, all these are the Windows server. We can use any, but I'm going to use this is the latest 2022 server. Then we have to configure our instance type. I'm going to use T3 micro. T3 micro. Or for this, I can use actually T3 large. You can choose the free tier one. It's not like it's gonna perform very well though, but it's okay for the testing purposes. Now we have to create a key pair. I'm going to give my key pair the name Django app. Now my key pair has been downloaded. We're going to use it later on to decrypt. Now I'm going to give the storage default, that is 30 GB. I guess it's enough, and all the other things will be default. Then launch the instance. So this is our instance. It's been launched. It's in initialization status. We have to wait until all 2 by 2 checks has been passed. Let's see the another section. Meanwhile, now the other section is how we can connect to our Windows instance. Once you have launched the Windows instance in the EC2, you need to connect to it to start using it. There are few different methods you can use to connect to your instance, including using the RDP, or download the machine itself, or launch the RDP connection. So I'm going to show you these two methods, which is we have to connect. Then you can go to the RDP client section, then download the machine, decrypt the password, and launch the machine. Or we can go to connect RDP client, decrypt the password, and then we can use remote desktop connection, which is a pre-built application in all the Windows devices we have in a local machine. I'm going to show you both of these methods. You can choose any. Okay, let's see if it's done. Both the checks has been passed. It's still in initialization, but I guess it's fine now because we have to wait until 2 to 3 minutes before decrypting our password. Now select our instance, click on connect. So next step is the RDP client. Now, what was the first method? We have to download our machine remote desktop file. So I'm downloading my remote desktop file. I've downloaded. Now, what is next? We have to decrypt our password. We have to get a password. So click on get password. Now I have to upload my key pair. So my key pair is this Django app.pem. Now click on decrypt password. My password has been decrypted. So click on this machine which you have downloaded. But first of all, copy the password. Then on the machine, click connect and paste the password. And yes, and your machine has been launched. Alternatively, you can use the second method, which is RDP, or remote desktop connection, in which you have to write the other things like your public DNS, your username, and then the password thing. I will show you. Just give this machine access to the network. Okay, yes. So I'm closing this one. Now let's see the second one, which is remote desktop connection. So copy the public DNS, show more option. Now you can actually paste your public DNS here. Now your username, my username is administrator here. Now the password, copy the password, click the connect. Yes, connect password. Okay, yes. Now it's been connected. So I will show you both the methods for connecting to your Windows instance. So this is our Windows instance, in which we have to write we have to configure it, like we have to install the Python. Let's open the Microsoft Edge. Now download Python. Download Python. Now Python has been downloaded. Install it. Customize installation. Make sure all the ticks have been checked, and then install for all the users. Then install. Let it install. Even if you cross this Windows, it will stay shutting on, because we are not shutting it down from here. It is actually running on the Amazon servers. So crossing it, it means we are just closing from our local machine. It doesn't mean this machine has been switched off. It will stay uh, shutting on or do the background and things it is doing. It won't stop until we make it stop or shut down. So let me minimize it and let's see the next section meanwhile. So now the next section is how we are going to host our Django on EC2. So first of all, we have to download the Python package, which I have shown you how to download. Now the next thing is we have to migrate our code to the instance. So how we are going to migrate our code to the instance? So let's see. So this is has been downloaded. Now close it. Close it. First of all, let's check if it's download cmd python minus version. So as you can see, Python has been downloaded. So just close it. Now what you have to do is, for this you have to use this particular method to connect to your instance. In the start menu, write a remote desktop connection, and in the show more options, go to the local resources, then click on the more, then on the drives, choose the drive where you have your code. For this, let me migrate my code to somewhere else, like first of all let me just copy, and then mm, I'm migrating my code to this particular drive. Paste. Okay, so this was the drive. Now what will it do? It will create a network between my this drive and in the remote desktop connection, for from which I can actually transfer the files between them. Okay, now click on connect. Connect, and the password. What was the password? Here's the password, and paste it, and okay. Yes. Okay. So go to this PC. So as you can see, this is my D drive on my local system. If you click on this, you will see all the files it has. So this was the file in which I have my project. So I will just copy this folder, send it to the desktop. Okay, it will take a while. Just wait for it. So we have done the second step. Now what's the next step? We have to allow our host. The thing is, the Django only allows our local host to host our application. For the other host, like if I wanted to host my application from another machine or from the EC2, we have to allow that host uh, in my settings. So how we are going to do that? Let's see. So close it. This is my application. So these are my applications in which here I have the settings. Right click on it, right click and open it with IDLE. So these are the allowed host. Okay, these are the allowed host in which I have to allow that host. What host it is? It's my EC2 host. So in the session manager, not in the session manager, in the instances, select your instance and copy its public IPv4 address. Copy this address and then paste it right here. So now this host has been granted to host our Django application from this machine. Now save it. Okay, this step is done. Now what's the next step? Next step is we have to create some inbound and rules and create some security group. And lastly we have to run the server. Let's do these things also. Close this. Now Search for control panel or just directly search for Windows Defender Firewall, in which we have to create some inbound rules. Now click on new inbound rule. Click on port. Next. Uh, Now we have to select a particular port. Let's say I've been choosing a port 8000. Now allow connections all. Now we have to give this rule a name. Like I've created a rule, I have to give it a name. So I'm just giving it a Django name, Django EC2 name. It will be easy to remember. Okay, now I have created inbound rule. Now what we have to do is create security group. So come back to the EC2, select your instance, and in the security, you will see the inbound rules. Uh, or you can simply click on the security groups. Now click edit inbound rules. Add a rule, custom TCP port range. For port range, you will simply write 8000 and select anywhere, that is allow all the addresses to allow these connection. Now save these rules. Okay, our security group has been created and our inbound rule is also been created. Okay, so this part has been done too. Now the last part is we have to run a server. So for that, you can just rename this folder. Okay, just rename this folder as new folder. Now it's okay. Copy this path, open the PowerShell. Now cd to here. Now I've been inside my Django project, just like we did in our local machine. Now and then save it in the server. Now we can simply run our server. What was the command for running a server is python manage.py run server. Now it says we couldn't import Django. Obviously, we have not installed our package Django in this EC2 machine. So we have to first install our Django pip install Django. So Django has been installing. So the Django has been installed. Now let's run our server. Okay, the server has been running. Now copy this path and check if it's okay or not. Okay, now what it says this localhost is not allowed to host our server. Yes, obviously, because we have changed our allowed host from the local host to only to the this EC2 instance host. So now how we are going to access our application? For that, you have to only do a small change in the run server command, which is you have to run server for all the IPv4 addresses along with a port connection 8000. Now let's try this thing. How we are going to uh, try it? Just copy the public IPv4 address of your instance and then colon port number 8000. Now as you can see, my server is running. This is my Django application. Now what was my another endpoints? Another one is the P1. So as you can see, this is my second page of the Django application. Last one is the admin. Yeah, admin is working too. Let's log in into the admin too. Admin. As you can see, the admin panel is working perfectly. So, but this is the local machine. Now you have noticed I'm only using the public IPv4 address for accessing my Django application. Uh, so since this is my uh, application running on the Amazon server, which is going to shut down only when we put it to the shutdown or make it stop, we can actually use this IPv4 address to access our application. You don't get it. Let me just show you. So I am just closing my I'm just closing my this window. I'm just closing my EC2 window, not shutting it down, not shutting down my server. Only closing it, just closing it. It will stay up, like it will stay my application running. It will stay my application running until I shut down or I will make it stop from the AWS console. Okay, now I have closed my EC2, just closed it. Okay, but it is still running. Now in the new folder, I will copy the public IP4 of this instance and use 8000 port. Now, as you can see, using this uh, using this machine IP4 address, I can actually access my application anywhere. You can actually also try it yourself. You can see my Django application is not running anymore here. I'm closing this. My Django application is not running in my local server. It is where it is running. It's running on Amazon's server. It is running right here. Until I make it stop, it won't stop. Okay, so this is how you can host your Django application easily. So we have covered all these points. I hope you get it. So we have also seen these things, TCP connections and the port 8000. Now the next section is the elastic IP. So the thing is The thing is, Elastic IP is a static public IP address that can be associated with your EC2 instance. It allows you to keep the same IP addresses even if you keep stopping or restart your instance several times. This is useful if you need to maintain a consistent IP address for your application, or if you want to set up a domain name to point your instance. So when you create an EC2 instance, it's assigned a dynamic IP address by default. This IP address can change. You can change several times when you stop or restart your instance. So to use an elastic IP address, you need to allocate one and then associate it with your instance. Okay, let's see what it is. Uh, what I meant is this public IP4 address will be changed if I stop my instance or restart my instance. It will change automatically. So the allowed host will be have to be changed, but we cannot do like this again and again. Like whenever we stop or shut down my server, we have to change our allowed host. We don't want it. What we will do is we will attach an elastic IPv4 address. What it will do whenever the this IP address will change, it will attach itself to the elastic IP address, and then we can use that elastic IP address uh, for hosting our application. Like we can use that elastic IP address in the allowed host sections of our Django application. So how we can create or associate an elastic IP address with my instance? So for that we have to go to the elastic IPs from here. Elastic IP, I think it's here. Yes, elastic IPs. So now we have to click on the allocate elastic IP address. Now the region, I've selected the Mumbai region. Now, now we have to select our we have to select an IP address. I will just use the default Amazon's pool of IPv4 address. Now we will click on the allocate button. Now this is the elastic IP address I have get. Now, what we will do is just name this as Django. Django EC2 Elastic for easy remember. Now, as you can see, I have this Elastic IPv4 address has been in selected. Now go to the actions and then associate Elastic IP address. Click on this one. Now resource type instance, as we want to associate it with an instance. Now we have to choose our instance. So to which instance we have to allocate? We have to allocate to the Django EC2. Now private IP address. What is the private IP address of that instance? Let's see. I just go to the EC2 instances, select your application, and the private IP address of this EC2 is this one. Copy it and paste it here, or you can simply select this one too, but I want to show you how it's done. Now, now what you have to do is uh, on associate. Don't check on that one. Okay. Now the elastic IP address has been associated successfully. Now we have to what we have to do. We have to edit our elastic IP. We have to edit our allowed host with this elastic IP address, or simply we can just try. This is the instance we have. Now you can see the public IP4 address has been changed with this. Copy it. Even if I restart or stop my instance, it won't change now as I have associate an elastic IP address. Let's connect and modify our allowed host. It will take a while, I guess, or simply just connect RDP, download the file again, get password, upload, Django app, open, decrypt password. This is the password. Click on this, connect, paste. Okay, yes. Now stop this command by using Control C. Okay, minimize it. In the settings, we have to edit the allowed host again. So this is the previous allowed host section, not this one. We have to assign it with the public, I mean the elastic IP address. So this is the elastic IP address. Now save it, run the server again with the same command. Now it's done. You can now close this and check. This is the elastic IP address, then colon 8000 port. Now it's running. P1, yeah, it's running perfectly. So we have allocate associate the elastic IP address to. This action has been done. Okay. It is important to note that the elastic IP addresses are free when they are associated with the running instance, but they have a small hourly fee when not in use. It's a good practice to release the elastic IP address when you are not using it to avoid necessary charges. So now the last topic is Cloud9. So AWS Cloud9 is a cloud-based integration development environment, that is IDE, that allows you to write, run, and debug code in the cloud. It provides a seamless development environment, allows you to work on your projects from anywhere with an internet connection. With the AWS Cloud9, you don't need to worry about the setting up your development environment on your local machine. Like it will pre-install the Python or Node.js or the Java, anything. It actually pre-installed in it. Cloud9 actually provides a full feature ID with advanced debugging tools, code highlighting, and gate integration. It actually integrates with the other AWS services like EC2, Lambda, and the code commit. This makes it easy to create and manage your resources without leaving your ID. Now, to get started with the AWS Cloud 9, you can go to the AWS console manager. and create a new environment. So let's see. I'm just going to show you a basic. Next time I'm going to in the next lecture I'm going to show you uh, how we can actually do it. So search on the Cloud9, click create environment, give it a name like test. So you can choose existing EC2 or new EC2. Let's try existing. So AWS Cloud9 uses SSH public key to connect securely to your server. To create a secure connection, add your public key to your SSH authority keys and provide your login credentials below. Actually, it uses the SSH to connect. Actually, it won't connect to our Windows, but if you are launched an Linux instance rather than a Windows, then it is beneficial. Okay, so for now, I will go with the new EC2 instance, and you can actually choose with the instance type. These are the suggested. You want an additional, you can do so, but I'm going to use the T2 Micro, and the platform you can either use the Ubuntu or the Amazon Linux 2. So I'm go with the recommended one. So this is the timeout, like for how much time you want to use it, and it will give itself a timeout like if you want to run your server for the 30 minutes or the 1 hour, after the 1 hour it will get timeout. Okay, so I want to use the secure shell method for the connection. Now let's create. So this is the cloud environment. It is being creating right now. So once it is created, you can actually open it. So as you can see, it is still creating. It will take few minutes, but I'm going to show you how it works. Just wait. So once your environment is set up, you can start coding right away. Like you can actually clone your GitHub repositories. You can import your codes here and start your coding. So for this, I guess I can upload a file. Select a folder. Now this is my inside this. So this is it. This is my project. Upload, upload. So as you can see, my code is uploading. Close this. As yes, my code has been uploaded. Okay, so what we are going to do with it, the same thing we have done in the Windows server, we can actually done it right here, and we can actually write or update our codes in a more advanced way here. So first of all, in the settings, you have to do the same things with the allowed host, and you have to change your directory too, and then you can use all the same commands you use in the Windows server, like the after configuring the security groups and the inbound rules. You don't have to configure the inbound rules in this. Just the security groups are okay, and then you have to run your server on the port 8000, just like we done in the Windows server, like Python manage.py run server 0.0.0.0, then colon that 8000, that will run your server. And actually this cloud9 we have set up, it will create an instance for it. Like if I refresh this instance page, it will create an instance. This is here, this is the instance which is directly connect to this cloud9. So in the allowed host, you can give this public ip4 address, or you can actually associate an elastic ip4 address first. Then that elastic IP address you can edit in the allowed host section. Then the running command, run server command, and all the things will be same as the that Windows server instance. The Django application will be good to go. So let's copy its path and then cd. So as you can see, it says no such directory. So I will just go to the environment and then cd test, but it says no. Okay, I have to copy from here. Copy file path. So where it is? It is in the home EC2 user environment. Okay, so go to the EC2 user. Let's try it. We have to, yeah, we have to get home first. Home EC2 user, then environment, environment, then uh, then cd test. It says we have no directory such as test. Then let's try directly EC2 Django. Yeah, we have inside our Django project. Now I can actually use my commands now. Where you have to change the directory until when? Until you can see the manage.py file after running the ls command. Up to then you have to change your directory in which you have your manage.py file. Okay, now all the things are the same. First of all, let's uh, edit our allowed host with this last before address in the allowed host in double inverted comma, paste the allowed host, then save it. Now configure the security groups, allowed the TCP connection. We can actually edit or just add a custom TCP rule at 8000 port on all IP4 address, save rules. Okay, now the security group has been created. Now on the this we have only one thing to left, running a server, python manage.py run server. Now 0.0.0.0 colon 8000. So it's done. Now in the instances, select your Cloud9 instance, copy its IP4 address, paste it, now colon 8000. Now as you can see, it's running. So that's how you can use the cloud environment if you're using the Linux, or you can use the Windows environment if you are using the Windows EC2. I have shown you both. So this part has been done. So here are some references that you can use to learn more about the Django EC2 Elastic IP address and the Cloud9 too. Thank you for listening or attending this lecture. If you have any queries, you can connect to me on the LinkedIn and ask your queries.